Welcome to NFL Points, Picks, and Props, and welcome to my two pigskin prognosticators. Joining me is Ben O'Connell from Chicago, Illinois, Tommy Birch from Western Massachusetts. Guys, say hello.
Oh my goodness, it's football season. Can you believe it? I am so freaking happy. I've been waiting for so long. I'm just so excited. Thank God it's here.
Months and months of waiting and grueling weekends without football. And here we are. It's the first week of the NFL. Let's get it rolling.
We are here. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the 15 games on Sunday and Monday, 14 on Sunday, and then that Monday night clash in Seattle. We're going to do 5 games each. And then once we're done with that, we're going to give you our best favorite of the game or of the weekend, our best underdog of the weekend, and then our best money line bet of the weekend. Now, once we pick those, though, the game is off the board. So, and we're going to keep score over the course of the season. So it's good to pick first. And in order to decide who picks first, I have created a fun little game for my two colleagues here to play. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pick last because I'm privy to the answers. But for you guys, we are going to play a game. I have not told anybody about this game so that the competition would be fair. Nobody has had a chance to study up. So what we're going to play, and I've got my big board over here with all my notes. We are going to play NFL Draft Class or NFL City Law Firm. So I am going to say 3 names, and those 3 names are either partners in a law firm located in an NFL city near you, or they are 3 names from the same draft class, only using this last year's draft class. So it's not like I'm going back to 1982 and expecting you guys to know who the 19th round pick was of the New England Patriots. These are guys that were just drafted this past year. And so let's see how close you paid attention to the NFL draft or how often you've needed an attorney. Either way, you'll have an advantage. All right. So, Tommy, we're going to go ahead and start with you. I'm going to read you 3 names, and you determine whether or not it's a law firm or an NFL draft class. All right?
All right, let's get it going.
All right. The first 3 names: Grant, Morris, and Dodds. Grant, Morris, and Dodds.
This is
NFL
tough.
draft class.
I thought we were
NFL
going
draft.
full names.
Well, it's how it reads on a law firm's. You know, when you walk by the law firm, they don't have their first names on there. Come on.
Can you read it for me one more time?
Grant, Morris, and Dodds.
There's a lot of Grants. There's a lot of Morrises in the world. Not a lot of Dots.
Dodd.
I'm gonna go
DDS.
Yeah, Dots. I'm gonna go draft class.
We don't need the second buzzer there. Nope. Grant, Morris, and Dodds is a law firm operating in Las Vegas, Nevada. So the next time you're out there, maybe look them up because Vegas is a city where often a lot of people need lawyers. Okay. So, Ben, over to you. All right. Slack, Davis, and Slanger. Slack, Davis, and Slanger.
All right, first off, I don't think that those are 3 real people to begin with, whether it's law or football. Second off, as a Broncos fan, oh my goodness, the draft, there was a draft this past year. What the heck, dude? I didn't even know.
Did you guys pick anybody? I
didn't even know. Gosh, what were the names? Slack, Banger,
and Slanger. It's a flip of a coin, guys.
Just for the good of the game, I'm gonna hope that's draft class.
Yes. All right. Well, so far we're 0 for 2. We are going to play 2 rounds. So if one of you gets it this next round, one of you gets it wrong, then we will have a winner. Otherwise, we'll go to a 3rd round. All right. Mathis, Washington, and Wattenberg. Mathis, Washington, and Wattenberg. Yes, this is to you, Tommy.
Mathis, Washington,
and Wattenberg.
As weird as it sounds with my logic here, Wattenberg sounds like a football name. So I'm going to go draft class. Draft class. Lock it in.
Draft class. That is, in fact, the Denver Broncos draft class. Damari Mathis is a 4th-round cornerback from Pitt. Montrell Washington, a 5th-round wide receiver out of Samford. And Luke Wattenberg, he sounds like a big guy, right? He is a center out of Washington.
I was thinking more tight end.
Yeah, no. Well, Luke Wattenberg is an interior lineman. All right, Ben, back to you now. So we've got Cook, Bernard, and Spector. Cook, Bernard, and Spector.
Can go law firm.
Cook is James Cook, the 2nd-round running back from Georgia, selected by the Buffalo Bills. Terrell Bernard is a 3rd-round linebacker out of Baylor, and Balin Spector, a 7th-round linebacker from Clemson. So, Tommy, Mr. Birch, you get to go first. And we've got our schedule here. We're going to run this along the bottom of the screen. These are these are consensus lines brought to us by our sponsors at USA Wager. So anybody can follow along that. You can see what our games are for this weekend. But Tommy, you're going to start with one of your 5 games. Go ahead.
All right, I'll start it off with a banger. All right, so let's start off the series. This is one of the most highly anticipated games of Week 1, and that being Baker's revenge game against the Browns. So at this point, the Panthers barely own the spread at -2.5, but I do strongly believe that the Panthers are a better team, and their roster is just in need of a quarterback, in my personal opinion. Their receiving core is incredible. With Christian McCaffrey healthy, they have a lot of potential, and their defense is well above average. So having them at -2.5 feels like a bit of a gimme. And with the Panthers playing at home, a drive to win, I'm locking them in -2.5 right now.
I like it. And this line has been moving, right? Isn't it? I've got the info here. Yeah, it started at 3.5. So you're actually got a better bet than when you started. So yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Ben, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that a lot too. I think Baker's just one of those guys that is just gonna go get it done. I like that quote. He's gonna go fuck him up, whether he said that or not. We'll let that be. But I really do think that he has that mentality. I think he's gonna go out there and kill him. My one concern though is we did hear today that Christian McCaffrey's shin might be acting up. He was put on like the injury list. Still looking like he's going to be able to participate and play, but just keep an eye out on that.
Well, yeah, they're for sure going to limit his carries, even if he was totally healthy, because they need him for 17 games, not just the 4 and 5 they've been getting from him. All right, you have your next game then, Mr. Birch.
All righty. Second game of the day is a bit of an interesting one, with the Jaguars traveling to D.C. to face on the Commanders. The last time Wentz faced Jacksonville wasn't necessarily his best game, and it took the Colts out of the playoffs. However, Washington still holds down the spread of -3, and the way the Jaguars and Doug Peterson rebuilt the roster, I really do think that Jacksonville is a completely new team this year. And, having a sensible coach this year is a very big benefit, and alongside some new talent and grabbing Christian Kirk out of nowhere, I really think that the new talent on both ends of the ball is going to be key to this game. I'm taking the Jags at +3.
Well, and not just a sensible coach, a coach who used to beat Washington on a regular basis as the Eagles coach. Yeah, no, I greatest addition by subtraction was dumping Urban Meyer and his staff and bringing in actual adults to go ahead and coach this team, people who know what they're doing. I like Jacksonville this year.
I have a quick question for you. Who would you rather have, a Heisman winner or a man who's best known for winning a Super Bowl he didn't play in? I'm taking the Jags with you. I love the Jags. I love the idea of what the Jags are building down there. Jacksonville all the way here.
Well, Carson Wentz taking all kinds of bullets from everybody in sports these days. I feel bad for the guy a little bit.
I'm not a Carson Wentz hater. I'm just saying that I think that last year for Trevor Lawrence was a bit of a fluke.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, your next game.
All right, so I'm not going to be biased here. I am a 49ers fan, but this next game is the 49ers making their way to Chicago to play the Bears. So the Niners dominate the spread by a score, hold it like a touchdown, not just a score, holding it on to the -7 right there. It's difficult to stray from the team, that made the NFC Championship, and even with the new starting quarterback, I may have had this incentive to pick the Bears this week, but with the restructuring of Jimmy G's contract, they have almost the exact same roster as last year, if not better. And if anything does go wrong and Lance, folds under pressure, they can put back in the guy that brought them to the NFC Championship last year. And quite honestly, the Niners just have a more talented team, offense, defense, even special teams. So I got to take them here.
Well, there's a reason why the Niners are one of the favorites to win the NFC, and there's a reason why the Bears are one of the favorites to have the first overall pick in the draft next year. This game couldn't be more lopsided as far as I'm concerned. It's probably one of the most lopsided of the weekend. So yeah, I'm with you. I like the 49ers a lot.
Being here in Chicago, I got to tell you, the buzz around the city is great. Everyone loves Justin Fields. Everyone cannot wait for this season to get underway. And to be honest with you, I don't know why that is. They're just waiting to get disappointed once again, man. I'm with you guys. San Francisco 49ers -7.
Yeah, you better not walk outside tomorrow, man.
It's a good thing Fields can run, because this offensive line in Chicago is awful. So yeah, he's going to be running for his life. All right, you got another game.
Yes, I do. So this one is one of my favorite sleeper games of week 1. It's the Colts versus the Texans. So I'm a Davis Mills believer, and I have the utmost confidence in his ability to command a first-string offense. I think that last year he was the second best rookie quarterback with the time that he played behind Mac Jones. And I feel like if he played the whole season, he might have turned out to be the best. However, there's a big what if here. Matt Ryan is one of, if not the smartest quarterback in the NFL. And although his deep ball ability might not be anywhere near what it used to be, he forces defenses to stay honest. He makes the right reads. He progresses through the offense very well. And keeping that defense honest is going to leave a lot of room for Jonathan Taylor to have a day. They can't pack the box like they did against the Colts last year with Carson Wentz, who was a very limited player in that regard. I think that having that much flexibility is going to give Jonathan Taylor even more potential to have a breakout year. And although it is the obvious pick at -8, I really have to roll with Indy here.
Well, when Carson Wentz was there, the Colts beat the Texans 31-3 and then 31-0. And Taylor, even with a stacked box, went for 143 and 145 in those two games. So yeah, so now that they actually have a quarterback, yeah, there's no chance for Houston.
Yeah, no, I love that running back room that they got there. And adding Matty Ice is only going to help that offense and really increase productivity. I also think the Colts just have a day in Houston, just beat the socks off of them.
All right, Tommy, your last game.
Last one of the biggest ones too. My last game, possibly one with the most implications. We see the Chiefs taking on the Cardinals. So the uber successful Chiefs, led by generational talent Patrick Mahomes.
He's pictured right here.
Oh, right there. Yeah, you can see him.
Yeah.
Generational talent. I don't know about that.
Despite the incredible amount of success he's had over the last couple of years, he's got a lot to prove this year, especially after losing Tyreek Hill, Tyrann Mathieu, and Charvarius Ward. He's got a lot of respect to maintain right now. And people are disrespecting the Chiefs a little more than they should this year. They're still a very talented roster, even though they lost their number one receiver. Juju's going to be good this year. I don't really see them winning this game by a whole lot. And as bad as that sounds, the Cardinals look electric this year. I could see them making a deep playoff run if Kyler Murray stays off the Call of Duty games. But, the spread favors the Chiefs at +6 right now. And, I mean, I think it'll end up being a field goal game. I'm not saying that the Chiefs are going to lose. I'm not saying that the Cardinals are going to win. It's still really tough, and the Chiefs have Andy Reid and, an incredible offensive talent that team has. But I really don't think it's going to be that far. I'm just picking against the spread. I'm putting my faith in the Cardinals +6.
Well, The Chiefs are near and dear to my heart, so I've done a little bit of research on this. The Chiefs have not lost an opening week game since 2014. Now they have and so during that seven game win streak there in week one, Andy Reid is 5-2 against the spread, although he did not cover the spread last year against the Browns. And overall, last season, the Chiefs in the regular season were only 8-9 against the spread. So while they have done a ton of winning over the last couple of years, you're right. They don't cover the spread nearly as often. And so while obviously I would love to see a Kansas City win by 45 points, I think that it's probably going to be like a 31-27 game, similar to what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Kyler's had a whole off season to really just soak in the hate and really just be ready to show what he really can do on the field. And I think what is a better team to do that against than the Kansas City Chiefs, one of the teams with the most hype right now. I see this being, a Chiefs win, but like y'all were saying, a very close, 3 to 4 point game there. Yeah, I agree with you there.
All right, so you've got a couple of prop bets for us here, Mr. Birch. Please go ahead and tell me what those are.
All right, so I'll lead off, following the game I just talked about. The Kyler Murray passing touchdown line is at 1.5 right now. And I think that's just abysmal. I think that he's going to throw 2 or more touchdowns this weekend. And I really do think that he might have a statement game and really show people that, as Ben was saying before, he had a whole offseason to soak in the hate, to take on all the NFL fandom. And I think that he might even throw up to 3.
Well, I mean, the Cardinals have been fast starters the last couple of years. I mean, they were the last undefeated team last year. So, yeah, I mean, and that was largely because Murray was so good at the beginning of the year too. All right, and your other prop then?
Yep. For my second prop, I'm going to go to a game that isn't mine. The Eagles-Lions game. Jalen Hurts. The passing yards line on this one is 225.5. I'm picking the over here. I think the receiving core is really good this year, and I'm a big Jalen Hurts guy. I'm a huge supporter of Jalen Hurts, even in college when he got his job taken, transfer, loved him. I think he's going over that 230. Lock it in.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like Hurts. I like the Eagles. They're going to be one of the better teams all year long. So, Mr. O'Connell, we are now going to head to you and your 5 games for us. If you want to get us started.
All right, friends. I'm just going to start right where we left, and we'll talk about Philly and Detroit. It's a 4-point spread for the Eagles right now. You know what? Call me crazy, call me a believer, say that I've been watching too much Hard Knocks this offseason. I might just agree with you on all of those things. But let me tell you something else. The amount of walk-off field goals that the Lions lost to last season is so inhuman. Like, they lost 8 games by 1 possession. They needed minimal improvements to get a much improved record. I think that Campbell in his second year in the building has really brought the energy up. I think that the additions of Hutchinson and Shark is really going to help these teams. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to really blossom into a great talent. You know what? I like the Detroit Lions at +4.
I am an Amon-Ra St. Brown truther. I think he is going to be an absolute stud this year. It'll be interesting to see. It's, Detroit is Detroit, but
yeah. There's always that fear.
Tommy, do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's really hard to pick against the Eagles. I don't know if I completely agree with you at that standpoint, but one thing I do have to add about the Lions is that I really do think that Jared Goff is incredibly underrated. I mean, although his season last year wasn't incredible, new coaching staff, new team, new offense, a lot to soak in. And if you look at the stats from the end of the year last year, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league throughout the last 3 or 4 games. He was throwing a lot of touchdowns, not throwing the ball to the other team too much. And as, bare bones as that statistic is, I'm taking touchdowns over picks any other day.
Well, and we learned from Hard Knocks that he's got his own clothing line. So, it's hard to hate on the guy, right?
You can't, man.
All right, you're up. What's next, Ben?
Yeah, the next game I got here on the docket, let's just jump over to the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. I got the New Orleans Saints at -5.5, and tell you what, I'm going to also buy myself a point and take them at -6.5. That's how good I think this Saints team is, and I think that's how big of a lopside this match is. Listen, this is a really good contender for top defense this year. I think that they are just overall like really talented. And then with Jameis Winston, listen, this isn't 30-30 Jameis Winston. This is the Jameis Winston that Tampa Bay thought they were drafting. I think that Jameis is really showing what he can do out there. I mean, just in the limited amount of play time that he had last season, he got 14 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, 1,100 yards. Listen, I like the Saints in this matchup at -5.5.
Well, and Winston could throw 3 picks against this Falcons team, and still they would win pretty easily. I am not a Marcus Mariota believer. I know he's looked okay in the preseason, but I think we see Desmond Ridder in the not too distant future.
You know what? I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I am a pretty big Marcus Mariota guy.
All right.
And that might be the Madden 16 talking to me, but, I love the guy. I think that he has the tools to be a decent starting quarterback in this league, and Desmond Ridder has the potential to be even better. However, with that being said, it is week 1. Marcus Mariota has not started a game in a very long time. It's really hard to argue with the talented roster the Saints have built this year. I'm going Saints here.
Well, maybe some of my Marcus Mariota hate is still a little being chap-assed from that touchdown he threw to himself in the playoffs against the Chiefs. It's quite possible that still lingers in my brain.
That's like a top 5 play of the decade.
That was amazing.
One of the worst plays in the history of football. Yeah, absolutely.
Feels even better when you hate the Chiefs. Let me tell you what, it felt great.
Hey, me too. Trust me, they bounced us in the Super Bowl. I'm with you on that one.
All right, no Chiefs hate right now.
We're
moving on next.
My next game here, I got Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, and you know what? I was feeling a little spicy with this one, and here's the reason why. I truly believe that Trubisky is gonna give Washington a reason to make a classic Washington mistake and trade for him in the offseason this year. And they're going to look back at this game and be like, but look at him. It wasn't like, it would look like when he was in the Pro Bowl back in Chicago, like every Chicago fan has been talking about since. Listen, I think that it's, high emotion game. I think Najee Harris is going to really just come out and play well. I think Cincinnati is going to play well. I really do think that the key component to this spread working out is Trubisky coming out and playing decently well. And I think crazier things have happened week 1. This is my crazy thing that I think for some reason I'm feeling in my bones is going to happen. For some reason, I don't know why, but I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers at +6.5.
Hey, so I've got the stats from last year's week 1 here in front of me. Home teams that were favorites against the spread last year, 2-7. Your Cincinnati Bengals are a home team and a favorite. Last year, week 1, it was a bloodbath for home favorites. So I could see it happening. And let's not forget when Roethlisberger was down in 2019, and it was Devlin Hodges and Mason Rudolph, Tomlin still got them to 500, and they almost talked themselves into having Mason Rudolph as their quarterback of the future. So who knows? Who knows what could happen?
And you know what? I'm going to be the guy that says, looking back to what I was saying about the Colts and how having a better quality quarterback is going to help open up the run game. As much as I love, Ben Roethlisberger. Last year, he had a limp noodle arm and could not throw the ball past 20 yards. So seeing Mitch, who could definitely spin the ball, get it down the field, I feel like it's gonna have a very similar effect to what the Colts were having. So I like the pick.
All right, you got one more game to get to here.
Yeah, let's see here. My last game is Sunday night football. Is a rematch of the last week one. It is Tampa Bay and Dallas. I freaking love Dallas. Not past this game, but let's say here, focus in week one. Listen, Tom Brady is either having some kind of personal drama. He's either in like a unicorn suit on Fox singing, songs from the past decade in the Masked Singer. You knows what he's doing. I'll tell you what he's not doing. He's not ready for football. He already has a foot out the door. He's ready to leave. He has so much money waiting for him at Fox when this is all done. He didn't show up to training camp until, heck, it was time to, go do the damn thing. Listen, I really think that this young Dallas team, it's easy to meme on. It's really easy to hate on them because, yeah, it's Dallas Cowboys. The star's still on there. But you know what? This defense is good. This defense is aggressive and hungry, and I like them. You know what? Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, they got me believing something's going to happen on Sunday night. All right, you know what? I'm going to nail the hammer down on this one. +2, love the Dallas Cowboys.
Tommy, you appeared to have some reaction to that. Why don't you go first, and I'll follow up.
So, first of all, what you were saying about Tom Brady, love that. Hope he's a great singer. That would be pretty nice. But secondly, I really think that this is a fan pick right here. You're going to have – because, the Cowboys have the worst fans in the NFL, and you're going to have your Twitter DMs flooded with a lot of compliments. You're going to have a brand new fandom from Dallas over here. But, as much as I really, really hate the pick, I can't say that I disagree too much because Dallas just has such a great 1-2 punch at running back, one of the best in the league, probably behind Nick Chubb and Kareem. And, Kareem's probably out the door at this point. It pains me to say I'm getting a headache from it, but you got it.
Look, have you guys not learned anything about betting against Tom Brady? Tom Brady has been washed up for the last 9 years, and he keeps winning Super Bowls. Yeah, he looked like he had a foot out the door. He looked like he had 2 feet out the door when he was giving his press conference. But this is Tom Brady. Until Tom Brady is actually in the ground, I'm not going to believe that he's not going to come back and win a Super Bowl. And even then, I'm still going to have my doubts. Look, this. No Amari Cooper, no Tyron Smith. This offense is not going to be what they were last year. And the defense was good because of all the turnovers, but turnovers are regressive. There's no way they force 34 turnovers again. I love Micah Parsons, and I could watch him play all day, and he might go out and be the defensive player of the year. But I just don't see this Cowboys team as being somebody that competes with the Bucs. The Bucs are the betting favorite in the NFC to make the Super Bowl for a reason. And look, I don't know. I bet against Tom Brady too many times and gotten burned. I am not going to bet against him again. I love the idea of the Cowboys underachieving. And look, they underachieve every year. That's when was the last time the Cowboys were actually a Super Bowl contender? I mean, come on. I understand they're at home and the fans will be all excited and it's Sunday night. And obviously Mike McCarthy knows that if he doesn't do something in the playoffs this year, Jerry Jones is going to come lurk. Well, and Sean Payton's lurking in the background. He's unemployed now. So Jones could have his wish, but I don't know. I have strong feelings about the Dallas Cowboys, and very few of them are good. So
I got one last thing to add here. As much as I dislike Dallas, I dislike Tampa even more. So although I think and know that the Bucs are going to win this game, I am picking against them 100% and solely out of spite.
Well, here's my thing too, though. I also think that, yeah, the Buccaneers look like a team that could be playing in the Super Bowl. But do I think that week one, are they going to look it, like to the caliber, that they need to be? That's where I start to have my questions. I think that the Dallas is, they like to start early. They like to flame out towards the end. I think that, yeah, I could see it easily going either way here. Is definitely clinging to a prayer. Not
Well,
gonna lie.
I hope it's similar to last year when they met in week one, because that was one of the most entertaining games of the year. So if they can put that kind of performance together, I'll be a happy viewer for sure. And I almost shortchanged you. You do have one other game.
Do I?
You
Was I lying?
You have the New England Patriots and the
Oh
Miami
yes,
Dolphins.
I do have the New England in Miami. I'm gonna take Miami 3.5 here. You know what? I don't think that Belichick really has it. Like, who's playing on the Patriots, man? Like, what's going on? Like, you
Kendrick
know what I
Bourne.
mean?
Yeah.
He had a terrible preseason. So.
You got Mac Boy Jones as your quarterback. Listen, I like him, but I like him because he's like he's like a Toyota Corolla. He's dependable. He can get you from here to there. You know what he's going to be able to do. But listen, he's no Lamborghini. And you know what? If you have your choice between those two, everyone knows what you're taking. I really don't see how New England is going to really compete with the firepower that Miami has. I really like Mike Gesicki. I think that he's being slept on as one of the best tight ends in the league. I think he's going to have a great year. I like the Miami Dolphins to win by a touchdown. So at -3.5, that's a great pick for me.
Well, for me, the biggest thing for the Patriots is you lose Josh McDaniels, your offensive coordinator, who's been your quarterback whisperer, and you've done nothing to replace him. I mean, Matt Patricia, when he was a coordinator, was a defensive coordinator. Joe Judge was a special teams coordinator. These two are your guys that you're turning to for your offense to grow your young quarterback, two guys that don't grow young quarterbacks. Why Belichick didn't go outside and find somebody to bring in as a new OC, somebody to work hand in hand with Mac Jones, makes no sense to me at all. I don't know if it's a little hubris. I'm Bill Belichick. I'm the greatest coach of all time, and I don't need to do that. But I think that this Patriots offense is going to look as bad as any offense in the league. And yeah, I think the Dolphins always gave New England trouble in Miami anyway. Now Miami is the much better team. And so, yeah, I think that Miami rolls in this game.
As much as we're talking about how much worse the Patriots look this year, I'm going to go to the other side and look and talk about how much better the Dolphins look this year. Their offense looks like one of the best in the league at the moment. And I don't think that Tua gets enough credit for his ability to make the right reads and throw the ball. He doesn't have a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen arm, but he's an NFL starting quarterback for a reason. He can get the ball down the field if he needs be. And he's got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill both on his side of the ball. And that's just asking for trouble. I feel like as much as I don't think the Patriots have a great roster this year, and Bill Belichick may be able to pull something out of there, but I can't. It's the Dolphins. They look great this year.
It's going to be a yak game for sure with those two.
Here's the thing about Tua too. This is just a word to the fan. Tua can't help the fact that there was this whole tank around Tua talk. Listen, do I think that Tua is at the level of a quarterback that you should be tanking for? No, I don't. But Tua can't help the situation that he came into. And the fact is that fans are expecting that kind of talent. He is a really good quarterback. And he is just under this lens because there was the whole motto, the whole tank around Tua talk. So really, I do beg, fans to really give the man a chance, because when you really take that aspect out of his story, the dude can ball. The dude can spin it. And yeah, man, there's more of a tank for Trevor than a tank for Tua, in my opinion. But yeah, it's it's neither here or there.
All right, and you've got a prop bet for us.
Yeah, I got two of them, I think, right? Yeah, listen, as a proud Korean myself, we got Kyler Murray and we got Younghoe Koo, all right? And listen, kickers are people too. I'm with you, Pat McAfee, for the brand. Listen, I'm not sold on Atlanta's offense, but I am sold on the fact that they are going to get the boy within field goal range at least twice in the game. I think that Younghoe Koo, if he's not on your fantasy team, you should pick him up because he is playing on a team that isn't going to be finding the end zone as much as others, meaning that the boy is going to be up to kick a lot. I think this is one of those situations. Over 1.5. I had that at plus 110 at my local sports book. Man, that felt like stealing. The other prop bet I got is a little crazier. Is it up there? Or no?
I don't have it, so lay it on us.
All right, listen.
See how quickly I can type it in.
Okay. Last year, we were talking about how crazy the Tampa Bay Dallas game was.
Mm-hmm.
There was over 700 passing yards. There was 7 passing touchdowns. And you know what? I don't think that you're a real football fan if you aren't rooting for that to happen. I have that at plus 2,000. I have for Brady and Prescott to combine for 700 passing yards and 7 touchdowns. And I'm telling you, you are not a real football fan if you are not just putting a couple bucks here and just sitting back and watching the fireworks. Listen, this game is going to be explosive. And you know what? This is what we should be rooting for. What are you? Someone who bets the under? Come on. You want to be rooting for scores. You want to be rooting for fun. This is football. This is what football season's all about. Listen, whether it's going to happen or not, I don't know. But I'm going to be cheering for every passing yard and every passing touchdown. I'll tell you what.
Well, it's certainly more fun to root for that than for the under on that. Absolutely.
For sure.
That's a great pick right there. And the speech just gave me shivers. I felt like I was getting ready for a to play a football game. We're getting all riled up. Might have to get my helmet on, huh?
It was like the president at Independence Day, standing on the destroyed spaceship. Nice, yeah. For the audience here, Tommy plays football at Western New England University, right? That's where
where I'm at. WNE.
Yeah. He's a defensive lineman for them, and so he's got a number of props that he could throw out there.
It's always there, always on deck.
All right, so moving on to my 5 games now. My first game is the Giants and the Titans. We've got a healthy Derrick Henry, and I think it's more than just him being healthy. The fact that he had almost 200 fewer carries last season than he did the year before means not only is he healthy, but he's fresh. And he's a little ticked because he was on pace to get his second straight 2,000-yard season. I think he wants that. I think he's going to fight for that. I like Derrick Henry a lot this year. He's going to be your comeback player of the year. He's also one of the top 5 betting favorites for offensive player of the year. Yeah, A.J. Brown is gone. Harold Landry got hurt. But this is the Giants. I like Brian Daboll and I like Mike Kafka, and I think that as coaches, they're going to do a good job there. But they still are stuck with Daniel Jones and a roster that's pretty weak. The fact that this is less than a touchdown in Tennessee, I think a lot of people are giving the Titans a short shake here. This is the number 1 seed in the AFC last year. Going into the playoffs, I think they have another a big start to the year, and I think I see Henry going for about 130, 140 in this game, a couple of scores, and I think the Titans win by 10 points or more.
Man, they're playing the Giants. Of course, you want to take the Tennessee Titans. Look, they've been competitive the past couple of years, and they're going to continue being competitive. And you know what? The Giants are going to continue to be the Giants. I love Derrick Henry. Think he's really poised to have a great year. Love the pick at -5.5.
Rooting against the Giants is one of my favorite activities in all my spare time. As a Niners fan myself, my family kind of, disowns me as Patriots fans. So they don't like that too much. But I grew up watching some Patriots football, Massachusetts born.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like the Giants over here. So trust me, anytime I get to pick against them, I'm picking against them.
Well, I'm going to stick in the city of New York, and I am Jets, Jets. The Jets are going to cover this spread. The Ravens are healthy. Yes, the Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to win the AFC North. I think they're going to be division champs. But I like the things that the Jets have done. I'm excited to watch all the New York rookies. I'm excited to watch Sauce Gardner. I think Breece Hall is going to be big. I like this wide receiving core. It doesn't matter that Joe Flacco is going to be starting instead of Zach Wilson. In fact, it might matter because he's got a revenge game against the Ravens. You may remember Flacco was their guy. Then Lamar Jackson comes in. They shipped him off to Denver. Poor guy having to go play for the Broncos. How dare they do that then? He owes the Ravens, right? He owes the Ravens for making him put on that Bronco orange terrible uniform. Right, Ben? No.
I'll tell you what. He owes me to cover this game. That's what he owes me, having to watch him play for my beloved Broncos. Oh my lordy.
So anyway, I think the Ravens are going to win this game, and like I said, I think they're going to win the division. But when it's all said and done, Lamar and Rashad Bateman have not had a chance to play very often together. They didn't play very often together this preseason. They were both hurt last year at different times. Bateman missed the first half of the season, and Lamar was injured the last few games. They're going to be good, and come October, November, I think that their connection is going to be tight. But I just don't see it week one. I'm not suggesting that I'm going to jump on the Jets bandwagon very often. I will not be held to being a Jets fan for more than just this coming Sunday, but I do like the Jets here. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm actually on board with that. As bad as that sounds, I think Joe Flacco is still a serviceable backup quarterback. And I love Robert Saleh. He was the defensive coordinator for my Niners. He did a great job over there. And I think what they need is that energy from him and that defensive mindset. And I think that they're going to, rile up and lock down some Baltimore drives. I can see this going your way here.
I haven't looked at the numbers yet, but one other thing that I will go out on a limb and say is I do think, however, even though I like the Jets here, I do think that Lamar Jackson will finish with more rushing yards than Joe Flacco. I know that's a bit of a hanger out there. I know I'm putting myself out there. As long as if Lamar gets the 2 yards, he'll have more rushing yards than Joe Flacco this game. But I like the Jets. So you guys remember this game last last game of the regular season? What a way to start, because we had Justin Herbert threw the ball 65 times in that game, 383 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was lights out, but the Chargers could not get it done. And the Raiders are the ones who went on to the playoffs. We're in SoFi for the rematch. It's going to be Raider Nation. The Raiders own Los Angeles. The Chargers do not at all. It's going to feel like a Raiders home game. J.C. Jackson not playing is really key in this. No J.C. Jackson to me means Devontae Adams has a big game. It doesn't matter that he's new to this offense. He and Derek Carr go way back to their Fresno State days. I think the Raiders are going to have a really good performance. I think when the season's over, the Chargers are ahead of them in the standings. But I like this week 1 game with Jackson out. The run defense is, I know they added Sebastian Joseph Day and a couple other guys, but I don't like the linebackers for the Chargers. They're still running Kenneth Murray out there, and I think he's awful. I think that the Raiders they got the better field goal kicker in Daniel Carlson, and I think Daniel Carlson makes the difference, and what could be a field goal game allows the Raiders to cover the spread.
Yeah, as a Broncos fan and, you as a Chiefs fan, we just love if this game could just tie. Listen, I'm with you. I think that J.C. Jackson being out is a huge loss to this LAC defense. He was definitely brought in to be, that duct tape that was needed in a giant gaping hole. So, yeah, you know what, with that half point, I'm going to sit with you. I like the Raiders. Ooh, I didn't like that sentence, but I'll go with the Raiders at plus 3.5.
And you know what? I'm going to have to tag along on that. I'm a big Josh McDaniels guy. As much as he may have not helped the Broncos very much, and given Josh McDaniels has not gotten a real good shot at being a head coach on an established NFL team. And I think that him paired with, Derek Carr and, the brotherhood between him and Devontae Adams, and that team, like, separate from what the Jets need in their defensive head coach, having an offensive head coach in Las Vegas, I love it. I think it's great for them.
Well, sure, the man only traded up for Tim Tebow.
Yeah, McDaniels has changed a little bit as a coach since then too, and he's taking over a team that's pretty. I mean, it's a playoff team. They were in the playoffs last year, so he's not having to start from square one like a lot of new head coaches do. So, I think the Raiders get off to a really good start this year. All right, this is a game I'm really excited for, and I am going to say that the Vikings here at home are going to. So Zimmer's gone. We've got Kevin O'Connell in now from the Rams offensive coordinator. He's going to take the shackles off this offense. There are so many great pieces to this offense. I think that Justin Jefferson, and I'm going to get to Justin Jefferson, my prop here in a bit. I love him. I love Adam Thielen. I love Dalvin Cook. I think Kirk Cousins is criminally underrated because he can shrink in big times and in primetime games or in the playoffs. He will have a big game on Sunday. And what I don't like about the Packers right now is the fact that Alan Lazard is banged up. We're not sure if he's going to play. Christian Watson has been hurt for much of the summer. And so Rodgers hasn't had a chance to really develop a rapport with him. I like the Vikings to not only cover this, it's a very, very modest spread. I think the Vikings win this game outright.
Listen,
I'm a huge fan of that.
Alan Lazard went to my rival high school. Watched this guy play football. Watched him run track. Watched his career throughout Iowa State. But let me tell you this: as much as history as I have with Alan Lazard, if he's your number one wide receiver in the wide receiver room, it's a little shaky. You know what I mean? I'm also with you on this one. I do like the Vikings to not only cover the 1.5, I like them to win the game as well.
You know what? I'm tagging along. I'm going to hop on the bandwagon for the Vikings, and I think one of their, if I'm not mistaken here, Jalen Reagor just signed with them, correct? And I really do like that. As much as as much of a weird year he had last year, that third wide receiver, having like Jay Jetta and Adam Thielen and him as number 3, or anybody else that wants to tag along, I love it. I'm all in. Give me the Vikings.
Yeah, they're. I really like this team this year, and probably the Packers are still your NFC North champions, but they're going to get pushed by Minnesota this year, I think. All right, my final game of the night and our final game, the final game of the weekend, that Monday night game in Seattle. So Russell wants to win this game probably more than any game in quite some time, but Pete Carroll also wants to win this game more than he's wanted to win a game in a long, long time. And he knows Russ. He knows Russ well. He's going to scheme well against Russ. Now, I think the Broncos win this game. I don't think that they're going to lose. But I think the Seattle roster is a lot better than people give it credit for. Yeah, Kenneth Walker's not going to play, but Penny's a great running back. They've got still 2 studs at wide receiver. And look, when Geno had to play last year, he wasn't that bad. This is a good team. I think Seattle is criminally underrated. I think Denver wins this game by 4 or 5 points, but at 6.5 points, I just can't take the Broncos here. I've got to roll with the Seahawks in Seattle. It's going to be an emotional night. That 12th man is going to be super loud. And I think that the Broncos, I think also this is going to be a low-scoring game, which I think keeps it closer. I think the Broncos are going to rely heavily on Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, and it's going to be like a 17-10 to 14 kind of game, 20 to 14 kind of game. I think this is a low scoring game. And because of that, I think Seattle stays close and stays within a touchdown.
Ben, before you say anything here, Kyle, you got to give yourself the boo button here. I know that's your thing, but you got to give yourself the boo button here. I'm giving you a big thumbs down on this one. Big thumbs down. I'm gonna let Ben speak his mind. That's his fandom, and then I'll take the talking stick after that.
Listen,
you've got something for me?
We were scoring 17 points last season with Drew Lock, and that guy's sitting behind Geno Smith week 1. What's going? Listen, oh my goodness, I just don't know what's going on here with you, Kyle. I got to be honest with you. Listen, I think that Russell not only comes in and asserts his dominance upon the AFC West. I think that I think Denver wins by 17. I think we score at least. I think we score at least 3 touchdowns, and Cortland Sutton easily catches one. I assume we probably get a rushing one. I don't know how you see this being so low scoring. I do. Kyle, man.
Sleep on the Seahawks.
I'm going to call an audible right now. I'm going to call an audible.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Kyle, we are, as much as I'm not a big fan of the Broncos, let me tell you, I can't side with you on this one. I hope, I know we're counting up our records at the end of the year. I think this one's going to hurt you in the long run.
All right. I look forward to your apologies next week.
Wow. The confidence in this one.
Listen,
look, I'm not picking the Broncos to lose. I'm just saying they're not going to cover 6.5 points. That's a hefty spread.
If there was a 1 in front of the 6, if it was a 16.5, I might be able to see where you were coming from. But even then, I'd still be questioning it just a little bit. Kyle, look, you've upset my light so much that it turned off. I can't.
So I gave you the stats for home favorites last year and how they were terrible. Well, home dogs, which is what the Seahawks are, home dogs in week 1 against the spread were 4-2. So Seattle, get on it. Home dog going to cover the spread.
You know what? You want to know why I'm wearing this helmet, Kyle? Because if you put me in the quarterback right now, I would be just as serviceable as Geno Smith in the backfield. All right.
Oh boy.
So I'm a defensive lineman. I'm not saying that as Geno Smith being bad. I'm saying that the Broncos defense specifically is going to shut him down. I would be just as productive as that.
Who's rushing the passer?
Who's rushing the passer?
Right.
I'll do that too.
Gregory? I mean,
Bradley Chubb. Hello?
Bradley Chubb. What is he maxed out at like 4 sacks in a season? Come on. They're gonna miss Von Miller a lot. They're gonna miss Von Miller a lot.
What does he have to play for? You can't blame him for not wanting to get banged up before the good years start rolling in, Kyle.
He gets banged up. He gets banged up in September every year before they're out of it.
Exactly. That's why he's got to protect. Listen. We're gonna be down their throats. Listen, Broncos scoring at least 35. Calling it here. I'm gonna be bragging about it next week.
All right.
35 is crazy. I don't know about all of that.
35 points at least.
All right. I look forward to that discussion.
Next
week. All right. So my prop of the week, going back to the Vikings and the Packers. So right now they've got a line on the longest reception for Justin Jefferson at 25.5. I think he's got at least 2 catches that go over 25 yards. I love this prop, and I've actually parlayed it with the prop on their kicker to go over 2.5 extra points because I really think the Vikings are good. I'm not saying you should go for the parlay. That was me, but I do love Justin Jefferson, longest reception over 25.5 yards. I think he gets that early in the game, and then you can just sit back and relax and enjoy your winnings at that point. That's my prop of the week.
I think you can give yourself the redemption clapping sound on this one. Little one of these.
Little golf clap though.
All right,
too big. Don't get out of hand.
Yeah,
here,
yeah. I've got a lot to make up for from the last.
Some poetry slam snaps. But you know what?
You like Jefferson then?
I like Jefferson. I think that Kirk Cousins doesn't get as much respect at throwing the ball at every level. And I just don't think that the league is ready for him this year as a whole. I think he's an offensive player of the year candidate this year. Lock that one in. And I completely agree.
Okay, so now we're going to actually pick our favorite pick. So we're going to have we have the favorite, which is your team that is the favorite right now to cover. You're going to have your top dog, which is of all the underdogs, which of your underdogs do you think is going to cover? And then your best money line pick of the night. And we're going to start with you, Tommy, since you got us going on here. And so please tell us who your favorite of the weekend is.
You know what? Ben's going to love me for this one. My favorite. I'm a huge fan of Denver this weekend. Their rebuilt roster,
right.
Russell Wilson's revenge game, they dominate the spread. I don't just mean they win. They dominate the spread.
All right.
Lock it in, lock and key, throw away the key. You don't need to get back in. We're going Broncos for my favorite.
Boy, I'm going to have to go take a shower after all this Broncos talk. All right. Your favorite, your top dog of the week.
Top dog, I'm going to go back to what we were talking about before. I like Minnesota this week. I'm not a hater of the Packers franchise. I just really believe that this Vikings team has a lot of depth at almost every level, offense and defense. And, I was talking about it before. They just got Jalen Reagor and Dalvin Cook healthy. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. Give me the Vikings.
All right. And your money line pick of the day.
This is an interesting one because I think for my money line, I'm going to go a little drastic here. So I think sitting right now, if I'm correct, the Cardinals are at plus 205 on the money line. And I think that's abysmal. I think that the Cardinals are more than capable of winning this game. It really all depends on how well Kyler, chooses to play. And I think that Kyler Murray is going to have an amazing week one. And I like that money line pick right there.
All right. Ben, your favorite of the weekend.
Yeah, my favorite of the weekend is definitely going to have to be Miami sitting at that 3.5. I like, just like what their offense has. I think it's going to be fast. It's going to be dominant. I like Miami there.
All right. Your top dog?
My top dog of the week is going to be the Detroit Lions. I really do. I've really bought into that program. I really bought into to what Campbell has. And I think the grit that they're talking about in Hard Knocks is really going to show up against the Philly Eagles team. I think that is, it's a doable opponent. It's a beatable opponent. I like the +4 there.
All right. And then your money line pick.
My money line pick, you know what? This is a little crazy. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that the Commanders are the Commanders. I think it's another team in Washington. Listen, they're putting, freaking banners over the seats at FedEx Field and tearing down the upper bowls. There's a reason why. It's a horrible team. It's been a horrible team. And until ownership changes, it will be a horrible team. I think that Jacksonville Jags is definitely a team to buy stock in right now because they're on the up and up. I think that they're a young, solid team. I think that Doug Peterson's going to add a lot to that team. I like Jacksonville.
All right. And so for my picks, and we're going to be at some odds here with a couple of these, my favorite of the week is the Philadelphia Eagles. I like them to cover that spread and win that game pretty easily. I know you've got the Lions there as your top dog, so we'll be head to head there. My top dog of the week, and I know Tommy, you've got the Carolina Panthers here, but I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns at plus 2.5 points. I'm going to go ahead and take the Browns as my top dog of the week, and then my money line pick of the week. I really like, as we've talked about, the Vikings. I think the Vikings win this thing outright. I think they beat the Packers, and that is my money line choice. So we are all set. We've got our stuff for all of our games now. We're good to go for Sunday. 14 games in the book, and of course that somewhat controversial Monday night game involving the incredible Seattle Seahawks And the third or fourth place team in the AFC West. The
Call it
Denver Broncos.
WWE because it's going to be a SmackDown.
Well, I appreciate you guys. All the work you put in. These are some great picks. Yes. We see the severed horse's head on your chest there. If you're watching us, you're listening to us on the podcast, please follow us on Twitter. We are at NFL_PPP. It is not the federal loan program. That, of course, stands for NFL Points, Picks, and Props. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks, guys. We will see next week how we all did. And I'm quite sure that there will be some crow being eaten by at least one of our panelists. It could be me, could be one of the other guys. Hard to say.
Let me know. I'm just letting you guys know it's not going to be me.
Couldn't be me. I don't know. Guess it's only.
All right, guys. Well, on behalf of Tommy Birch and Ben O'Connell, I am Kyle Garlett. And we also want to thank our sponsors at USA Wager for being a part of this show. And thank you very much for joining us. Happy betting this weekend. NFL football is back.